Fight Night Jan versus Dvalishvili. Gonna make my picks here. Explain who you need to take, underdogs and whatnot, straight picks, parlays, what I think. Take what you will. First fight of the night, we got Harris versus Gooden. Gooden's coming back from a return on a win streak outside the UFC. He's a veteran, getting older though, facing a new prospect that's kind of had a couple fights in the UFC. Got heel kicked by Rachmaninoff, but he's tough. I'm favoring him here more like a 60-40, maybe like a 65% to 35%, but Gooden's a live dog here. I don't know if I'd probably stay away from this fight. Gooden's a decent dog, though, on DraftKings if you play DraftKings. Next fight, we have Tyson Nam versus Bruno Silva. This one's a great fight. If it stays on the feet, it's going to be a banger, and Tyson Nam's got a chance, and he's a live dog. But if Silva gets in trouble, he can take it to the ground. He's got more ways to win this fight, so I'm going to go with Silva. I would say 70%, 75% to 25% Nam. I've got Nam on a couple underdog cards. He's a good dog. He's got a chance. Next fight of the night, I've gone back and forth on a couple times. I've thought about it. At first, I was leaning strongly towards Henry. He's the favorite. But he did get out-wrestled pretty bad against the Sun Sao, and I think Gravely will be able to at least do that for 2 rounds. Gravely's a good live dog here. Pretty much a coin toss right now. There's a lot of unknowns going into this fight, kind of with both guys. They've failed to prove themselves against better talent, and this is a good match for them to test themselves there. Next fight, we got Ariane Lipski versus J.J. Aldridge. I think J.J. Aldridge is a pretty strong pick. She's doesn't produce a lot of points on DraftKings, though. That's the one issue. If it stays on the feet, it can be a good fight with Lipski, but I just think Aldridge, like a lot of fights on this card, that the wrestler can take it other places, and she's just a little bit more physical and stronger. I think she's going to impose her will a little bit on Lipski and bully her around. Next fight of the night, Mario Batista versus Guido Canetti. I'm going to go with Mario Batista, the biggest lock on the card, biggest favorite. I think he's going to get a submission first and second round early, make it look easy. He's going to be pretty dominant here. Guido's getting old and he's been subbed a bunch, and I think Mario's in his prime right now, Batista, and getting real good ground and pound people and subbing people, so that's where I see this going. Cedricus Dumas versus Josh Frim. I think this is a coming out party for Dumas. Cedricus, he's going to put it on Josh Frim and beat him up. He's one of my locks. I have him on pretty much all my cards. The OC wants him to succeed. That's my opinion. Next fight, Rafael Sunsal versus Davy Grant. Now, this is another fight that I've gone back and forth on. I think it's a coin toss. I think Davy Grant's going to win. Now, at first, I thought a Sunsal, but he's getting older, and I just think that Davy Grant will disrespect the pocket a little bit more and make a Sunsal uncomfortable and like push a pace that a Sunsal won't be able to keep up with. That's not his style. So I'm gonna go with Davy Grant. But I would take a Sunsal if you make a bunch of cards on your DraftKings cards. He could pull this out. He's got a lot of veteran tools. The next one is Lucas Brzezinski. I can't say his name. Brzezinski and Carl Williams. This striker versus wrestler. Luke should be undefeated. He had that no contest that popped hot, and then bad decision. And then Carl Williams, he's a wrestler, bunch of decisions. I just think that Luke is a really good dog here, especially on DraftKings. The line should be a way closer. As far as betting, I don't know. I would stay away from it. Let's keep going. Next fight, Victor Petrino versus Anton Turkalj. Blah, 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 blah. I got Turk as a lock. Victor Petrino, he's scary, but short reach, throws bombs, comes real hard, but I think Anton's just a better fighter. He's got a lot of experience, and his only loss is to that beast, Gelton Almeida. Next fight on the card, fight 10, Saeed Nurmagomedov versus Jonathan Martinez. It could be a very interesting fight on the feet. They both have very good kicks and speed, and they don't really telegraph their shots at all. So it'd be really interesting. I just think Saeed's got the better distance and movement, and if it does need to hit the ground or he's losing it on the feet, he can take it to the ground. Martinez is dangerous, though. He throws a lot of shots that hurt people and, like, change the trajectory of the fight. He's just slick. He kind of, like, lulls you to sleep and hurts you. But I'm going with Nurmagomedov. I think he's got this in the bag. So, another lock on the card, I think. Ricardo Ramos versus Austin Lingo. Lingo's a boxer. Ramos is pretty well-rounded. I just think he's going to be too experienced and too good for Lingo at this point of his career. Nikita Krylov versus Ryan Spann. I think Nikita Krylov's got this. Even though he was sick and they rescheduled it, I just don't think it's a good idea for Spann. He's been shown to be lazy and having to cut weight again. We Want Picks guys brought that up, and I thought about that too, and they made a really good point with that. So I just think Krylov, with having to, like, cut down again, Krylov has more discipline, and he's just like a hungry wolf right now, and I think he's going to get up in Spann's face and make it a dirty fight immediately and break him. It's kind of how I see it going. I could see Spann catching him early with something, trying to get an early finish as well. But I'm leaning towards Krylov. I would say 65-35, 60-40. And that's another fight I kind of would stay away from. Next fight, co-main event, Alexander Volkov versus Alexander Romanov. I'm going to go with Romanov. I just think his only loss was due to altitude, and he looked amazing before the altitude kicked his butt like it kicked everybody else's butt that night. And Volkov's been submitted before. I think Romanov's grappling, he's going to be able to get into them tight spaces and underneath his arms and get him flat on his back and maybe get, like, some kind of a straight arm lock, Americana, get him down, and keep him down. And win a decision if you can't submit him early. So he's one of my locks, pretty much on my cards. And then, yeah, I have Romanov is a lock, Dumas is a lock, and Turk is a lock. And I have them on pretty much all of my DraftKings cards. If one of them loses, it's going to be a bad night for me. And here we are at the main event. Petr Yan versus Merab Dvalishvili. I'm going with Petr Yan, even though I have Merab as one of my DraftKings underdogs. I think they've screwed over Yan so many times. I also think Merab might know something, might see something. They might have been training and drilling. They come up with really good game plans in that camp. And, they faced Petr Yan. They've got a lot of film and footage on him, good and bad and the ugly. And they game plan really well. So I've got Petr. I would say he should win that fight. He's a stylistic nightmare for him, but I just, UFC's so funny these days, and I've been getting all the co-mains or main events wrong lately. So Peter's the best fighter in the division. I think he got robbed 2 times before, but I think third time could be a charm. I'm not opposed to them messing it up again. So Jan should win the fight. Merab could bore it out and slow it down and make it a boring decision where he does no damage or doesn't seem to be and wins the fight. But those are my picks. Like I said, Turk, Bautista, and Romanov. And Turk, Bautista, Romanov, and Dumas. Those are I think, my 4 locks that I'm going to go with for this card and stay away from pretty much everybody else. My best underdogs are probably going to be Dvalishvili and Brzezinski. I like Nam once. Gravely's a good dog, and Turk's a dog, so should be a good fight night. I love the fight nights. I don't feel like there's a lot of conspiracies involved. Dogs trying to earn their spots. Who you guys got? Let me know.